What if, overnight, every government on Earth agreed? One digital currency for all. No more exchange rates, no more currency wars. A farmer in Kenya, a banker in London, a street vendor in Mexico, all using the same digital unit. But here's the twist. Physical money doesn't disappear. It stays. Side by side, digital wealth becomes traceable, perfect, global. Cash remains local, anonymous, fading, but not dead. It sounds like unity, but it could also be the most dangerous economic experiment in human history. The moment this new system goes live, everything you own is instantly converted. Your savings, your salary, your mortgage. The world digital standard becomes the single official ledger. Governments celebrate. No more foreign exchange losses, no currency manipulation, no black market rates. A perfect system on paper. But perfection has a price. In a world with only one currency, national control vanishes. So, who decides the interest rate? Who controls inflation? A single lever is now pulled for the entire planet. And what happens when countries with vastly different economies, say the United States and Zimbabwe, must follow the exact same rules, when one policy must serve both a superpower and a struggling nation? One country could boom while the other is forced into a brutal recession, unable to adjust its own economy to survive. The promise of a unified world ledger could become a global straitjacket, creating economic fractures deeper than any border. The perfect system on paper becomes the perfect storm in reality.
Imagine a world where your country's central bank gives up its greatest power, the ability to print money, to control its flow. Gone, surrendered. For the first time in modern history, that power is handed over to a new global authority, the Global Monetary Council. Think of it as a digital international monetary fund, but on steroids. Its promise is seductive, total transparency. Every dollar, every euro, every yen is now a digital credit. And every transaction is on a global public ledger. Taxes are no longer filed, they're instantly deducted. Fraud becomes a ghost story, a relic of a messier past. High-level corruption? It's visible in real time, a flashing red light on a global dashboard for all to see. But that same light flashes for you too. For the coffee you bought this morning, the book you downloaded last night, the donation you made to a cause the government might not approve of. Every single purchase you make is logged, traced, and stored forever. Privacy isn't just compromised, it becomes a nostalgic luxury, a story old-timers tell their grandchildren about. At first, it feels revolutionary, so clean, so efficient. But then a new feeling creeps in, the quiet hum of constant observation. It starts to feel invasive.
Your government no longer needs to audit your life. They simply see it. And in the cracks of this perfect, transparent world, something new, something old begins to grow in the shadows. Because when every digital coin is a watchful eye, physical money becomes the last true refuge. The black market doesn't vanish, it just adapts. Old paper bills, once destined for museums, become freedom tokens, tangible proof that you can still do something without being seen. And the price of that anonymity? It skyrockets. A crumpled $20 bill is now worth 50, maybe 100 in digital credits. Let's go to Nairobi. A coffee farmer named Amari sells her beans. The digital credits land in her account and instantly a percentage vanishes. Taxed. Automatically. She can't hide a single cent. But the upside is real. She doesn't have to bribe a local official for a permit anymore. The system is clean. It's fair, but it's also terrifyingly rigid. If the network goes down, if a solar flare disrupts the satellites, her life just stops. Her money, her ability to buy food simply ceases to exist. Meanwhile, in a textile factory in Mumbai, a man named Rakesh has found a way to survive. He pays his workers mostly in the official digital currency, but a small portion, he pays them in old physical rupees. Notes that are now worth far more than their face value, precisely because they leave no trace.
The Global Monetary Council calls this tax evasion. Rakesh calls it keeping his factory doors open. He calls it survival. And then there's Yumi, a retired school teacher in Japan. Her pension arrives every month like clockwork, a silent string of numbers in her digital wallet. WDS, World Digital Shares. But in a small wooden box, she keeps her envelopes of yen. When she slips a few crisp bills into her grandson's hand for his birthday, it feels real. It has weight. It has history. For her, this new digital world is cold, silent, and intangible. A world without secrets is a world without warmth. The grand promise was unity through a single, clean currency. But the reality is a new kind of division, a world split between the transparent and the unseen, between those who trust the system and those who are forced to live in its shadows. It doesn't divide people by borders anymore, but by something far more fundamental, by access, by trust, and by the very nature of time itself.
Imagine a world with one single accounting system, a planetary ledger. Nations that were once crippled by debt, drowning in complex interest payments and opaque deals, are suddenly on a level playing field. In theory, it's the ultimate dream of fairness, but in practice, it's the ultimate tool of leverage. With a unified world digital system, rich nations can now monitor, even throttle the financial health of poorer ones in real time. Debt is no longer just a number on a balance sheet. It becomes a data weapon, wielded with surgical precision. The great economic game is changing. The US, China, and the European Union aren't just competing with currencies anymore. They're competing with algorithms. The new Cold War isn't fought with spies and soldiers, but with programmers and engineers. The critical questions of our time become purely technical. Whose infrastructure will run the global servers? We already see this race, with American and Chinese data centers spreading across the globe like digital colonies. Whose encryption standard will become the master lock for the world's wealth? And the most dangerous question of all, whose back door gets in first? This is a new kind of cyber war, fought not for land or resources, but for control over the very code that defines money itself. And as this monolithic system grows, weaving itself into every corner of the global economy, so does its fragility. Think about it. One global ledger means one global point of failure. One single breach, one clever piece of malware, one catastrophic hack, and the trust that underpins our entire civilization could evaporate overnight. This isn't just about geopolitics, though. It's about us. For thousands of years, money has been an evolution of trust, from the weight of a seashell in your palm to the glint of a gold coin, from the promise on a piece of paper to the pixels on a screen. Every step forward promised more convenience, more efficiency, but it cost us. Each time, we gave away a little piece of our autonomy, a little piece of our privacy. Now imagine the final step in that evolution. A world where every single cent is seen, every trade is recorded, where your entire life, from the coffee you bought this morning to the savings you're hiding for a rainy day, is measurable in a permanent, unchangeable line of code. Would a world with no financial secrets be a world at peace, or would it be a world of absolute control? It could very well be both. This digital dream might begin with a promise of unity, of rooting out corruption and crime, but it could easily end in total dependence. A system so perfect, so efficient, so all-seeing that no one can escape it. A system that knows what you'll buy before you do, that can approve or deny your transactions based on your social behavior, that can, with the flip of a switch, erase your financial existence.
And yet, as long as a single, worn-out paper banknote still exists, tucked away in a dusty drawer somewhere, someone will choose it. Not because it's practical, not because it's efficient, but because it's anonymous, because it's untraceable, because it's free. So, what if we tried to have it both ways? What if all countries adopted one digital currency, but physical cash remained? It's a scenario that might unite our economies, but in the process, it could divide our humanity. It could create a two-tiered world. On one side, a society that is transparent, efficient, and perfectly monitored. On the other, a shadow world of cash, operating in the margins, a world for dissidents, criminals, and anyone who simply values their privacy. The real question isn't whether a system like this could work. Of course it could. The question is whether we'd want the world it creates. It's a choice, really. A choice between perfection and privacy. And I wonder which one you would choose.
What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next What If.